Go to the square. There is like a different different school here. That skirt so long that in here we call it polye. unfortunately, some areas it's almost finished because the native people. In this part of the Andes, we have volcano activity. Gracias, gracias. Miss, do you need a towel?
Oh no!